Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second Impact Investor e-pitching event of 4P Group and Impactpreneur Africa Limited, Geneva-Lusaka series under the theme Improving Access to Capital for SMEs in Africa. The 4P Group and the IPA e-pitching platform is based on the fact that we at 4P Group is based in Geneva, Switzerland, the world's premier impact investing hub, and Impactpreneur Africa Limited is based in Lusaka, Zambia on the African continent. The idea behind this and forthcoming quarterly e-pitching session is to bring these two communities, that is the global north and the global south, together by sharing vetted impact investing opportunities in Africa, which we have sourced through our close collaboration with African market enablers. In today's case, we have joined forces with the Kinshasa Innovation Center in Congo DRC, supported by the Swiss DRC Chamber of Commerce, as well as TrueMaisha from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, both of which will present themselves after these opening remarks. A 4P Group, as an intermediary service provider, is an integral part of the impact investing ecosystem in Switzerland, where I'm personally a board member of the Swiss Impact Investing Association, which also, while also being closely involved in the global steering group for impact investing. The aim of the quarterly e-pitching session is to increase the flow of impact capital to African impact enterprises, some of which have transitioned to this status through the adoption of the 4P Group ESG toolkit, which my colleague, Mr. Peter Chinso, will briefly present at the end of today's session. By attending today's event, the impact investors present will get an opportunity to listen to a pipeline of investment-ready impact enterprises, some of which has graduated from the Accelerator 2030 program. 4P Group is also hosting a series of virtual e-pitching live sessions, each time jointly with a market enabler that's in the incubator or an accelerator, during which the 3 to 4 best graduating entrepreneurs from the accelerator program are featured so that they can pitch directly to impact investors in our network with an interest and experience in investment opportunities in Africa. And in preparation of those future e-pitching events, we are in parallel also organizing both our Impact Investor Circle series with the relevant impact investment ecosystem stakeholders in the country that we are visiting, as well as providing our ESG toolkit for both traditional enterprises wishing to transition to become impact enterprises, as well as domestic venture capital funds and pension funds wishing to embrace both the tech and the impact investing revolution. So let me quickly present the house rule. Please turn off your microphones whenever you're not speaking throughout the entire event in order not to disturb the speakers as well as the listeners. And remember, this event is being recorded. And during the Q&A, remember to introduce yourself. Let me please reiterate. Please turn off your microphones when not speaking. Thank you very much, so that you do not disturb the speakers nor the listeners throughout the event. During a Q&A, remember to introduce yourself by name and affiliation and keep the questions short. And please do feel free to use the chat box to raise additional questions. Okay, so today's agenda. So after my opening remarks, Dr. Richard Mukunji, the co-founder of Kinshasa Innovation Center, will say a few words about the Kinshasa Innovation Center. And that will be followed by Mr. Eric Crispin, the founder of TrueMaisha, who will say a few words about the work he's doing in Tanzania with SMEs. And then we'll move to the core part of the program, which will be the pitching of 7 enterprises from respectively Congo DRC, Zambia, and Tanzania. Each of the founders will be pitching for approximately 5 minutes. And at the end, there will be an opportunity to ask a couple of questions in between the pitches. And then at the very end, there will be opening it up for more broader discussions with the founders, both amongst investors as well as other listeners. And then we'll end the event by a few closing remarks by Peter Chinto, my colleague. So without any further ado, Richard, over to you.
Thank Christian. It's okay for microphone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Kinshasa Innovation Center is an initiative of the Swiss Dear Congo Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the University of Geneva and Kinshasa. It's aimed to promote young Congolese entrepreneurs by supporting them with useful and essential tools for business creation. The envisaged approach is learning and simulating about practical case with the assistance of experienced mentor and business leader. The KIC approach strengthens the existing scientific cooperation between Geneva University and Kinshasa University to encourage the exchange of expertise and the transfer of technology between the Geneva University and the Congolese academic institution. The KIC project benefits from the support of important partners, both public and private, such as the Geneva Group, Invest, the African Office of the World Intellectual Property Organization. These partners are determined to support these projects, which begin with the Kinshasa. It should be extended and continued in the other university town of the DRC, notably Lubumbashi, Bukavu, Goma, Mujimai, and Sankuru. The principle is to bring together the private sector, academic sector, and the public sector around an entrepreneurial project. The first edition of KIC, after of regular selection, the KIC selected a project taking into account gender equality and the economic empowerment of women. To do these, 6 projects out of are led by young entrepreneurs and the other 10 by young entrepreneurs. All the projects cover the following sector: agrobusiness and food security, agriculture and fish, computing digital and new information and technology, education, wash, and energy. The KIC aims to improve the business and investment ecosystem. It works to provide support on both the demand side and the supply side of the market. On the demand side, the KIC project recommends responding to the constraint of young entrepreneurs with regard to the ability to develop operational and mobilizing capacity of entrepreneurial capital, essentially to develop of their business. On the supply side, for investors, the KIC act as a neutral intermediate and directly take obstacles such as asymmetric information and high transaction cost, due diligence for lender and investor. In there's a pitching where two young men. The first is Mr. Benoit Sacré Mbumina. He is 29 years old Congolese entrepreneurs residing in Kinshasa. This computer science graduate obtained the first prize and is absolutely one of the 3 winners on the first edition of Kinshasa Innovation. This Benoit Sacré, this enterprise is called Yekolap. He interests entrepreneurship and to the young people in Kinshasa and to make an application. We call it the Yekolap. This application is for the student and for the teachers to make himself and to learn something about matters and many things with the the program of school in DRC. Alors, Yekolab, at first, I just call Mr. Benoit to present this society. The second is Harmony Belenda. Harmony is 20 years old Congolese entrepreneurs with a degree in science, biochemistry, and agro-food chemistry. She is one of the laureate of the first edition of the Kinshasa Innovation Center and incubation capacity building program organized by KIC. She so wanted to know all about these projects. The first is called in French, Larry de Bonheur. Harmony and her team decided to start producing wine for local fruits, starting first with pineapple and watermelon. This primary goal is quite simple, to be on local production and does promote the fruits that are produced local in the region. The young entrepreneurs tell us that the idea came to her when she was still studying at the Faculty of Science. During the practical food microbiology class, she had her partners, Benedict Mulenda, did many trials to transform different fruits, and one of the exercise was to produce wine from fruits. She did so and offered testing to her friend. She tells us that it was a discovery for her to be able to make wine with a fruit other than grape or apple. That's the two laureate for KIC. And after this presentation, I asked Christian to give them the place that they present their project. Merci Christian, je pense que les deux vont présenter pour la suite, mais voilà un peu brièvement pour nous les deux lauréats, c'est-à-dire le premier et le deuxième. Plutôt Benoît Sacré, qui est le premier prix, dont le projet concerne l'éducation, qui concerne l'ODD 4, et puis il y a Harmonie, dont le projet concerne la transformation des fruits, qui est l'ODD 2, et elles-mêmes, les deux vont développer leur projet par la suite. Merci Christian pour la parole.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard Mukunji. As some of our listeners could hear, as you know, Congo DRC has 5 national languages, of which French is one of the national languages. So we hope that for those of you who do not understand French, that you will bear with us and still allow the two Congolese entrepreneurs to do their pitching in French. They should be able to answer questions in English and I think also some of the slides are self-explanatory. But before we go to the pitching, we'll move on to the next presentation by Eric Crispin. Are you there, Eric?
Yes.
Okay, so over to you, Eric.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Crispin. I'm the Managing Director for TrueMaisha Training Company Limited. This is a Tanzanian firm from Dar es Salaam, and we are there to empower human potential through capacity building programs. And we do training programs, tailor-made programs, and we also do open training, but we also manage development projects around capacity building. So tonight we're also working with 4IP, and we're having a few presenters, entrepreneurs who are going to do pitching, who have gone through our programs. We had a program called Youth Empowerment for Social Entrepreneurship in Tanzania, and Placidius from Agripoa went through the program, but also Ignatius from Rogate Diary also went through the program, and Innocent also went through our social entrepreneurship training. So we have been also doing mentorship and coaching to SMEs. TrueMaisha has also been working with financial institutions in Tanzania commercial banks in Tanzania to build the capacity of their existing and prospect customers, SMEs, on business development skills, just to empower them. So that's what we actually do as a company here in Tanzania. So just in a nutshell, let me allow the presenters to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Eric. Without any further ado, we'll move on to the core part of the program, as you said, as I mentioned. So we have the first program is a company called Yakolab, or in English, the teacher of the future. So if the founder will please let himself be heard, and now we can give you access so you can share your slides. So let me just shut this down. Okay, we have it here. So voila. Please go ahead, Yakolab.
Good evening. Please, je dois activer mon... Voilà.
Ok, vous avez 5 minutes à partir de maintenant. Allez-y.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mr. Sacre Benoît Boumina, co-founder of Yakolab SARL. I apologize for being able to address the assembly in French. La République démocratique du Congo a près de 10 millions d'enfants qui sont à l'âge scolaire. Et nous avons remarqué que 90% de ces enfants, pendant cette période de la pandémie à COVID-19, ces enfants n'ont pas accès à une éducation de qualité. Et puis, ce n'est pas tout le monde de tous ces enfants qui accèdent par des plateformes qui sont en ligne. Quelles sont les raisons? Les raisons sont les suivantes. Les coûts d'accès dans différentes plateformes sont exorbitants. Il n'y a pas un système de sensibilisation mis en place. Et aussi, ces entreprises n'accèdent pas auprès des écoles ou soit des enfants qui sont dans des milieux les plus défavorisés. Aussi, il y a 9% des enseignants et des parents en République démocratique du Congo qui sont analphabètes numériques. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il n'y a aucun système de formation, il n'y a aucun programme de formation continue en alphabétisation numérique qui a été mis en place afin de permettre à ces enseignants et à ces parents de bien se cultiver. Quel est le produit que nous avons mis en place? Nous avons mis en place le système Yakolab. Yakolab qui est une application web et mobile permettant aux enfants congolais d'accéder via nos plateformes pour bénéficier du contenu éducatif au format PDF, au format texte et au format vidéo et au format audio pour les enfants qui n'ont pas qui n'entendent pas. Aussi, nous pour l'uniformisation du contenu éducatif, de se connecter dans notre plateforme pour bénéficier aussi des prévisions des matières uniformisées afin de supprimer la grande ou la petite école. Nous donnons aussi l'accès aux parents parce que la plupart des parents abandonnent les enfants qui vont à l'école seuls, mais ils doivent aussi cela accompagner les enfants et les parents afin de mieux comprendre le cursus scolaire de leurs enfants. Nous travaillons sur l'ODD 4 des Nations Unies qui est l'accès à tous les enfants à une éducation de qualité et sans discrimination. La deuxième solution que nous avons mis en place est celle de la formation continue des parents et des enseignants. Cette formation permet non seulement à mieux asseoir l'économie numérique, mais aussi permet à ces enfants, à ces parents plutôt, de passer à l'alphabétisation numérique en apprenant sur les modules ci-après, sécurité de l'information, les les métiers du futur, l'Internet, comment faire bon usage, et aussi la contribution de la technologie pour la réforme du système éducatif. Notre application est plus simple à utiliser parce que nous ne donnons qu'un code d'accès à chaque enfant et il faut à l'enfant entre son code qu'il peut se connecter dans la plateforme et bénéficier du contenu pédagogique de qualité. Et ces contenus pédagogiques de qualité sont partitionnés, c'est-à-dire l'enfant qui est en 3e année classe A ne peut que voir les contenus éducatifs de sa classe. Et aussi l'accès à nos plateformes sont en moindre. Quel est notre marché actuel? Nous venons récemment de signer 4 principaux contrats qui nous donnent plus de 625 000 utilisateurs à rentrer dans notre plateforme, près de 20 530 enseignants à former et aussi 450 200 parents à former. Quel est notre modèle économique? Dans notre plateforme, nous donnons accès à 3 principaux utilisateurs. Nous avons les élèves qui ne payent que $8, qui ne payent que 0,8 $ par an, les parents qui ne payent que 0,42 ainsi que les enseignants qui ne payent que 0,42. Alors, par mois, nous avons un flux de 746 141 personnes connectées et qui nous donne un chiffre d'affaires par mois de 102 355 000 $. Pour la 2e année, 102 355 000 $. Et pour la 3e année, le chiffre d'affaires Pour la première année, nous avons un chiffre d'affaires de 786 445 000 $, pour un bénéfice de 420 540 000 $. Pour la 2e année, 1 410 261 000 $, pour un bénéfice de 753 747 000 $. Et la 3e année, 155 000 $ pour un bénéfice brut de 1 032 539 $. Cela, c'est suite au contrat que nous possédons de pratiquement 625 611 utilisateurs et près de 20 530 enseignants à former. Quel est l'avantage concurrentiel actuellement dans notre pays? Nous avons 3 grandes sociétés qui exercent aussi dans
Juste,
ces...
il reste 1 minute, hein, un peu conclure.
Nous avons 3 grandes sociétés qui exercent aussi dans cette... pour l'enseignement en ligne. Il y a Schoolap, Voda Edu et TLO. Yecolap assure la place abordable et puis son accès est convenient juste au coût qu'il donne. Le plan d'action dans le 24 mois est d'atteindre plus de 5 millions d'utilisateurs et de former plus de 2 millions de parents et de recruter. Nous avons fait une levée de fonds de 100 000 $. Et les 100 000 vont nous permettre à travailler sur la sensibilisation pour atteindre plus d'écoles et de faire un chiffre d'affaires que nous avons repris si haut et de recruter les postes suivants, un traffic manager et puis de travailler sur la production et la qualité du contenu. C'est notre plan d'action par le lancement de notre plateforme et aussi par le lancement en février. Notre vision est de devenir l'icône dans ces marchés d'accès de tous les enfants dans l'éducation. Notre équipe, elle est bien soudée, une équipe qui est activée pour travailler sur l'appui à la réforme du système éducatif pour l'ODD 4, donner accès à tous les enfants congolais pour une éducation de qualité. Merci à tous.
Okay, thank you very much, Benoit. Are there any questions among the investors or participants we have with us? We have just room for 2 questions now. You can ask the questions in French or in English. Okay. while we're waiting for people to maybe ask the first question, let me ask one question quickly. Vous avez parlé du fait que pendant les prochains 2-3 ans, l'utilisateur de cette plateforme sera principalement en RDC. Quand est-ce que vous avez prévu peut-être pour élargir ces services en dehors de la frontière? So I'm asking, in terms of the growth strategy of the company, when would they expect to move into other French-speaking countries? And could you foresee also that this service could be offered in using English to expand your market even further?
Merci beaucoup pour la question. Nous avons prévu étendre notre système de RDC parce que à partir de la 3e année, la première année pour nous, ça commence de septembre jusqu'en août. Donc, la 2e année pour nous, ça commence de septembre 2022 jusqu'à août 2022. Et la 3e année, c'est pratiquement en septembre 2023 jusqu'à août 2024. Donc, c'est à partir de la 3e année que nous projetons étendre notre système en dehors de l'Afrique, en dehors de la République démocratique du Congo. Voilà, merci.
Okay, merci. Any other questions from the listeners?
It's a live people pitching, like for random businesses pitching for money.
Any questions? If not, as I said, there will be an opportunity to ask questions again at the end after all of the pitches has taken place. Okay, anyway, I find it was a very interesting product. So, and education is the future of the African continent. So I'm very happy to see that we have a education technological solution being pitched today. If there's no further questions, we will move on to the next speaker. So the next speaker, the company is called Hope Sarala. Benoit, if you can just log out so we can hand over if you can just log out from your presentation. Voila. So do we have the next speaker, Harmony? I'll give you, voila, you can go ahead. Please go ahead.
Oui, je suis là. Bonsoir. Est-ce que vous me recevez?
On n'entend pas très bien, Harmonie. Et vous avez besoin de montrer votre slide. Allez-y. Vous pouvez partager votre écran si vous voulez.
Oui, j'ai dit, est-ce que vous me recevez bien déjà?
Bon, le son n'est pas parfait, mais on t'entend quand même. Ouais. Allez-y.
Là, ça va mieux?
Oui, ça c'est mieux. Ça va mieux maintenant. Voilà.
D'accord.
Allez-y. Vous avez 5 minutes à partir de maintenant. 5 minutes. Allez-y.
Merci. Bonsoir à tous. Je suis Harmonie Balinda. J'ai 25 ans et je suis cofondatrice de l'entreprise Upside où je suis également CEO. Alors, dans notre pays, en République démocratique du Congo, nous avons remarqué de nombreuses pertes post-récolte de fruits. Tout simplement parce qu'aujourd'hui, beaucoup de fruits sont cultivés par des agriculteurs, mais peu sont vendus, soit par manque de techniques de conservation appropriées, c'est-à-dire que le fruit arrive sur le marché déjà abîmé, ou soit parce qu'il y a une catégorie de fruits qui sont demandés beaucoup plus que d'autres. Alors, ceux-là qui sont moins demandés et ceux qui sont abîmés généralement enregistrent de nombreuses pertes pour les agriculteurs et les vendeurs, environ 60% de récolte. Voilà pourquoi nous proposons une solution qui est celle de la transformation de ces fruits en un produit qui se conserve beaucoup plus longtemps et bien. Et la solution que nous proposons, c'est la transformation de ces fruits en vin. Plus précisément, nous travaillons sur 2 fruits l'ananas et la pastèque. Donc, nous proposons sur le marché le vin d'ananas et le vin de pastèque, qui sont bien sûr des boissons alcooliques avec un taux d'alcool de 11%. Et notre marché cible, ce sont de grossistes, de supermarchés, de restaurants. Et nos consommateurs finaux, bien sûr, ce sont des adultes, des hommes et des femmes, dont l'âge varie, commence à partir de 18 ans. Et voilà, comme le module économique, c'est-à-dire que nous vendons aux supermarchés, aux restaurants et bars, et c'est nos consommateurs finaux qui vont vers eux pour acheter leur bouteille de vin, et nous générons des bénéfices sur notre entreprise. Alors, comme je l'ai dit bien avant, suite au manque de technologies de conservation appropriées, mais il y a aussi un problème d'électricité, ce qui fait qu'on ne sait pas garder nos prix même au frais, parce que c'est là des mondes courants. Voilà pourquoi nous avons proposé un produit qui peut se conserver à température ambiante. Et comme c'est une innovation, pour le cas du vin de pastèque, nous avons protégé cette innovation par un brevet d'invention au niveau du ministère de l'Industrie dans notre pays. Et nous avons reçu également beaucoup de prix d'encouragement dans ce sens. Alors, il y a l'équipe de direction qui est constituée également de 5 personnes jusqu'à présent, dont nous avons 2 femmes et 3 hommes. Alors, l'impact de notre société touche près de 5 ODD, c'est-à-dire l'objectif du développement durable, dont nous avons 0 famille, pas de pauvreté, l'égalité de sexe, accès à un emploi décent et de consommation et la production responsable. Notre entreprise ne génère pas encore de bénéfices signifiants pour le moment. Tout ce que nous faisons jusque-là, c'est du étude du marché. Et comme par exemple là, nous allons faire des dégustations, nous organisons des séances de dégustation dans des foires, dans des restaurants, dans des bars, pour recevoir les retours des clients. Et jusque-là, nous avons environ 98% des satisfactions venant des clients qui ont dégusté nos produits. Comme nos prospectus vient au plan de l'UNICEF, nous espérons d'ici 2026 donner l'emploi à plus de 300 jeunes. Pardon, je vais changer de slide. Voilà. C'est en anglais. Voilà. D'ici 2026, nous espérons donner du travail à plus de 300 jeunes. Pas directement via notre entreprise, mais tout simplement parce que notre entreprise impacte le milieu d'agrobusiness. C'est-à-dire que plus nous allons solliciter de fruits chez les agriculteurs, plus il y aura de gens, de jeunes qui vont s'intéresser à ce domaine et qui vont se lancer à l'agriculture. Voilà comment nous comptons impacter la société dans ce sens-là. Et d'ici 2028, nous espérons encore, étant une entreprise d'agroalimentaire, mettre sur le marché de nouveaux produits ou des denrées alimentaires. Et ainsi, d'ici 2029, nous espérons atteindre les 50-50% des hommes et des femmes au sein de notre entreprise.
Ok, il reste 1 minute là. 1 minute.
Voilà, nous espérons comme défi, c'est-à-dire atteindre les 60% du marché congolais, parce que jusque-là, sur le marché, environ 98% est occupé par les étrangers, c'est-à-dire que le vin qui vient d'ailleurs et aucun vin local sur le marché, soit on ajoute à peine 2%. Et ces projets à un coût qui s'élève à 107 859 $, dont 67 850 serviraient d'installation de l'entreprise et 40 400 serviraient pour le charge durant les 4 premiers mois. Et nous avons le prix de président des chiffres d'affaires qui va de 201 600 $ pour la première année jusqu'à 310 400 $ pour la 3e année. Et comme bénéfice brut, nous passons de 28 245 $ pour la première année jusqu'à 77 015 $ pour la 3e année.
On va pas les derniers slides. Hein. Vous avez oublié de faire passer les slides. Vous êtes encore sur le slide numéro 10. Et si vous pouvez conclure. Si vous pouvez conclure
oh là.
Voilà, allez.
D'accord. Alors, comme je disais, désolé pour le slide, mais je suis déjà au dernier slide, qui était celui du finance. Je ne sais pas, vous le voyez maintenant?
No, but si vous pouvez conclure là, s'il vous plaît.
D'accord, donc je suis au dernier slide, comme je disais, nous avons des bénéfices prévisionnels qui va de 28 245 $ pour la première année et jusqu'à 77 015 $ pour la troisième année. Donc voilà, et je vous remercie.
Okay, merci beaucoup, Ramoni, pour cette présentation. Thank you very much for the presentation. Are there any questions amongst the listeners? I apologize, first of all, for the sound quality, but I hope you were able to follow.
Ouais,
Okay, yeah, allez-y, Richard.
J'ai une question. Est-ce qu'elle peut nous montrer son plan financier? Elle a parlé, mais on ne l'a pas vu. Si elle peut, pour répondre, projeter son plan financier?
Il est là, je ne sais pas si vous le voyez, le slide.
On ne le voit pas.
Slide numéro 10, pas 11, 12 et 13. Peut-être si vous pouvez nous dire, vous cherchez quel montant exactement?
Oui.
What is your ask? What are you looking for from the investors?
Les montants demandés s'élèvent à 107 859,50 $. Et qui, donc 67 800 servaient pour l'installation de l'entreprise et 40 400 servaient à couvrir les charges durant les 4 premiers mois.
Richard, can you just repeat this amount because I didn't catch it because of the sound? She's looking for how much and to be used for what exactly?
Elle demande 107 000 environ dollars.
859.
Oui. 100?
107 659 $.
107 659 $. Oui.
107,000 US dollars?
Yeah.
Okay. And that amount will be used for what purpose?
I don't understand.
C'est un montant va être utilisé pour faire quoi avec? Voilà.
Ouais. Je crois qu'elle peut répondre à la question.
Vous voyez maintenant?
On voit, mais
le slide?
oui, répond à la question de Christian. Ces montants, l'argent demandé, ça va servir à quoi? Explique.
Oui, comme je disais, ces montants est indé. Nous avons 67 800 $ qui va servir pour l'installation de l'entreprise, c'est-à-dire acheter tous les matériels et installer l'entreprise. Et 40 400 vont servir à couvrir le charge de l'entreprise durant les 4 premiers mois du lancement.
Okay. Any other questions amongst the participants before we move on to the next presentation? Maybe one question from my side. You mentioned that you signed a contract with a supermarket. Is that a local supermarket? And if so, this supermarket, is that present in how many provinces in Congo DRC? Vous avez signé un contrat avec un supermarché. C'est quel supermarché? Est-ce que vous pouvez dévoiler le nom? Et est-ce que ce supermarché, il est présent partout dans les provinces ou seulement à Kinshasa?
Oui, alors au niveau des contrats, nous n'avons jusque-là signé aucun contrat, mais seulement nous avons des propositions parce que comme nous n'avons pas la capacité de produire une quantité suffisante pour aller vers ces gens, voilà pourquoi nous faisons cette demande qui va nous permettre à produire et répondre aux demandes des supermarchés et bars ainsi que d'autres structures qui veulent bien recevoir notre produit dans leur établissement, mais qui n'attendent que nous.
Ok, très bien. Ok, on va continuer pour la troisième présentation. This will be in English. The rest of the presentations will now be in English, and we have a company called Luano Honey from Zambia. So Mr. Jay Pandoliki I will allow you to share your presentation with the audience. And
thank you, Christian.
please go ahead. Once you upload it, you have 5 minutes.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Can I begin?
Yes, please go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, so just introducing Luano honey. Having coming from working in the agriculture sector, we as entrepreneurs procured Kapenda Mabula natural products to promote non-traditional agri-exports from Zambia. And what Kapenda Mabula means, it means a keeper of the forest, which is in line with our Go philosophy as a company. So just to highlight sort of the core elements behind our company and what we do is we aim at creating natural fruit products from using locally sourced materials. Then we make sure these products are of high standard, have a high brand image, and they're available at most wholesalers, retailers, and try and reach as many customers as possible. So currently, our company purpose is to create a larger market for the rich and nutritious Zambian forest honey and propel the lucrative business of beekeeping that can in turn ensure forest care and provide a significant income to many rural communities. But this is not only specific to honey, it extends for other natural food products which we're able to procure and make. So currently, when we took over the company in 2019, we started with 3 product lines, which was the 1.3 kg jar and the pouch and the mini cup. Then from there in 2020, we added 4 more product lines, and that includes ginger infused honey, which is we're the only company in Zambia or Southern Africa producing such natural infused honey. And then recently this year in 2021, we launched 2 new products, and that's a lip balm and chili sauce. And keeping in mind, all these are sourced locally from the rural communities. Then we look to expand in the future into more chili sauces, jams, cosmetics from natural beeswax. We're trying to also come up with alternative soda, like a honey water, and also cold press oils. Then coming to our social impact, we're covering 5 SDG goals, UN SDG goals, under the work we do. We also have our own tree planting policy where every unit sold, we donate 1 kwacha toward tree planting. And so far, we've bought about 5,100 trees, which have gone back into the communities. And also, we see that if we're able to increase the demand for honey, then those rural populations which produce honey can also have increased income and also participate on outgrower schemes. Then looking at our current financials, since we took over late 2019, so we just worked with the products which were there. And then January 2020 onwards, we had a full year of operation and we sold close to 30,000 units of various products. And then this year from January till date, sorry, I made a mistake there on the date. It was supposed to say 2021, but we've experienced a 46% increase in sales. And it's not yet end of the year, so we do see it to go more than 50% increase in sales this year as well. And currently, our previously recorded EBITDA was about $2,800, and that was up to end of April 2021. And till date, we're still running the year, so we haven't reviewed our performance. And in terms of revenue, we've managed to increase our revenue about 43% as compared to last year. And we still see that it will be more as we move on towards the end of the year. And the financial forecast which we have here, they're based off a $1 million investment. And we're looking at over a course of 5 years that we would be sitting at a EBITDA of about $500,000 plus with an investment of $1 million. So that would be by year 5. And just to go over the key milestones we've achieved. So in 2019, we acquired ownership of Kapenda Mabula Natural Products. And then we kickstarted in December 2019. In 2020, we added 4 new products. And we also launched our policy. Then thereafter, we added 2 new products in 2021. We have also managed to integrate DHL to provide free worldwide shipping across the globe of our products. And also we managed to acquire our first confirmed export order. This is just a general roadmap of our company and where we're heading to. So currently we're in phase 3 and we're looking to acquire funding to increase our capacity and begin working and doing outgrowers at a community level, especially in beekeeping. And also thereafter, phase 4 would be to expand our business model into more rural communities and actually export our Luano branded products onto shelves globally, and then increase the more product lines based off natural products. So what we're asking for is $1 million, 50% debt, 50% equity. And majority would be used in working capital and acquiring assets to grow our business model according to the roadmap. And currently, this is our team at a management level. We're all Zambians, and we're also we're a young team. We're all fairly new in like business, and it's a good, young, energetic team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luano, Hone, and Mr. Pandoliki for your presentation. Any questions amongst the listeners? Okay, let me, I'm curious personally regarding the model that you are referring to in terms of the e-commerce solution, whereby you said you're providing free worldwide shipping. How does that work? You also mentioned that you have 1 international order so far. Which country is that? And for me, it looks as though your growth forecast is rather conservative, because if you're aiming at covering the world market, one would perhaps expect some higher growth rates than what you have in your model. Could you please elaborate on that?
Okay, so initially when we started, we had most of, in fact, even still now, most of the honey we sell, it's on the local market. But for us to achieve good growth and a better price for our product, because the local market's very competitive, we decided to look into exports. And that's one big key for us. So we also decided to take it a step further. And on our website, we integrated DHL onto our website, so we can do e-commerce transactions. So you can purchase our product from anywhere across the globe, and DHL will deliver it to your doorstep. So apart from that, we can also distribute to retailers direct. So say that if there's a shop in the UK and they need our products, they're able to order like a case or a certain number of pieces, and it would be delivered directly to their shop. So it's either business to customer or business to business transactions we can facilitate via DHL. And what we did is we looked at the market prices across the globe for honey, and we discovered that if we integrate the cost of shipping, say at the highest rate, which DHL would do for that particular site, then we were still proving cheaper than the retail prices, way cheaper in most countries where honey is imported a lot. So that, and we fulfilled about 3 orders so far. One to Canada, one to UK, one to South Korea, different areas, USA, and we haven't yet started advertising. So we expect that once we start advertising in those particular countries, then we definitely get much more increased orders, and we could engage advertising agencies in those countries to advertise our product.
So basically what you're saying that despite using DHL, which is quite expensive way to send products overseas, you're still able to come up with a market price that makes you competitive with, let's say, local products. I'm asking that question because I read an interesting article. I think one of you or your colleagues were interviewed, and it was talking about the fact that exporting honey requires big quantities. And when you require big quantities, normally you would not be maybe using DHL, that's my understanding. And then exporting quantities is 1,000 tons of honey can cost as much as $2 million US. So how does that work? It's
So essentially there's two market segments for honey. There's bulk, where you pack in barrels, pack it in a container, then ship it using a shipping line, and then it gets repacked in its country of origin. In the country of destination. So, but in that case, what happens is our product doesn't get out there in our brand, and we're not able to achieve the final, like, lucrative price, which they do. So we decided that if we're able to get our product on the shelves directly the way it is here, it will be much better for us as a company. But we need to balance it with both, because to get the volumes, you also need to export in bulk, but as well, you can fulfill many different small orders across the globe in your branded product.
okay. And if you manage to raise $1 million US, the investor into your company will get how big a share of the company for $1 million US?
We don't really have a fixed percentage, but it would definitely be, so that's why we're looking for a mix of debt and equity. So the equity would be anywhere between 7 to 15%, but that depends on the deal. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. Any other further questions from the listeners to this interesting?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Cristian. So we have a question from Simunza. It's saying, what is the average size for international orders?
So we're looking for international orders, bulk especially. You're looking at a minimum of shipping a 20-foot container. That would be minimum. And in a 20-foot container, you're able to load about 25 or 20 tons, depending on the type of packing they required of honey. Because honey is a dense product, it weighs more, so you're able to stuff more into a container.
Okay, thanks a lot. So we are continuing our journey from West Africa to, let's say, from the western coast to the eastern coast.
Simunza has another question. He's saying, for current orders. Okay, current orders in terms of orders through our website, what we have is we have people who have ordered as much as 6 pieces at once. And so I'd say the average order size of online is about 2 units or 3 units per order online. And then locally, the distribution, it depends. We sell in cases, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot to Luano Honey. And we move now from Zambia to Tanzania to our first Tanzanian company, which is the Ensoma Factories. So I don't know who will be representing this company. Please let your name be known so we can.
Hi, Cristian.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Innocent is not able to pitch today.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So the next company is Rogat Dairy, milk processing. So who will be the speaker is there? Crispin, is he there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Where?
I'm here. This is me.
Ignatius?
Yes.
Okay, let me allow you to share your screen. Okay, you can share your screen now. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Ignatius Rogers. I'm from Tanzania. I'm the founder of Rogata Dairy. So basically at Rogata Dairy, we collect more than 20,000 liters of raw milk from a network of over 1,800 small-scale holder farms located between 3 regions of Tanzania, that being the coastal region being the main base of our operations. What we are currently, the problem we're trying to address is acute and chronic malnutrition affecting different age groups, and a huge increase in demand for fresh milk in Tanzania, whereby in Tanzania, we import more than 11 million liters of milk annually from mostly South Africa, Kenya, and the United Arab Emirates, being Saudi. So the solution we've come up with is that we collect milk from these small-scale holder farms by guaranteeing them a reliable market for their farm produce, that being raw milk. The milk is then processed, fortified into different dairy products. Then it's sold to a desired customer segment, such as schools. We have primary schools, hospitals, bakery stores. We have restaurants, canteens. We even have individual customers. So we have a market potential of more than 10 million customers around in Dar es Salaam. Sorry, this was according to the year 2020, and this is 2021. So we have a potential of more than 136 schools, 49 bakery stores, and 13 hospitals. So 10 million, a population of 10 million individuals in Dar es Salaam added to 3 million along the coastal region. And also Tanzania's population is expected to reach more than 70 million. So as you can see, we have a very huge, diverse market that we need to cater for. Competitive advantage is that we are the only dairy industry in the country that serves the bulk customers. I'm sure even where you guys are, there is no any dairy company that serves the bulk customers. That means in those companies that are buying milk in large quantities from 50 liters, 100 liters. So we are the only ones that do that. We supply milk in bulk, 50 liters, 100 liters. So we are saving the cost of buying small quantities to these hotels, whereby they used to buy 1 liter, 2 liter, but instead we are serving them with bulk milk that can last for almost a whole week. And the good thing is that all of our raw materials are locally produced, and we also fortify our products with vitamins and minerals. So these are business revenue. I'll jump to our growth strategy. We have been in operation since 2017, but our numbers here are from 2018. We were a very small dairy company 3 years ago, but in 2020, things changed after we received our very first investment. We are proud to say that we are an African Hits holding company, whereby Africa Hits has invested more than $1 million in our company. So in 2020, our revenues grew into processing more than 1.7 million liters. That was worth $1.2 million in sales. So this is our management team. We are more than 15, and here it's only 3 companies. So our first ask was $3.6 million in Series A funding, and we have already raised around we have already raised 1.2 million, and we have a committed of more than 2 million into this. So today we are only looking to raise around $250,000 US. Our biggest exit strategy is going to be through an IPO. In the next 5 years, we'll be taking, not 5 years, in the next 3 years to come, we want to be the first dairy processing company in East Africa to go public, whereby we are going to first go public with the help of Africa Eats. We'll be going public at the Nairobi Stock Exchange. And we have already prepared our prospectus and everything that is needed to go public. and followed by the London Stock Exchange. So Africa Eats, as our holding company, is playing a very big role towards our company going public. So we'll be first going public at the Nairobi Stock Exchange, followed by the London Stock Exchange. So for any investor who is interested, rather than if not going to invest in us for now, you guys are all welcome to be one of the owners of our company through the stock exchange. Yeah, thank you.
Well, very excited. Not every day you come across a company that's already planning to go public, not only in an African stock exchange, but a London Stock Exchange. So congratulations. Just a quick question of clarification. You said you already have a commitment of $2 million US. So that means that you're just looking to add another 200,000 US. Is that correctly? And if so,
yes, 200,000.
how big of a share of the company will that give you?
How big? Will you repeat your question?
Yeah, since you're only looking for 200,000 out of the 3.6 million that you're looking for, since you already received commitments, how big a share of the company will that give you?
So we are not going to give more than 8% of equity in the 250,000. We are strictly committed to only 8%. And this can be in forms of quasi-equity. It's not necessarily 100% equity. It can also be in form of quasi-equity.
Okay. And the first investor, was that a local investor, or did you manage to mobilize an international investor?
Okay, so our first investor is an international investor. We don't have any local investor at the moment. Africa Eats through Fledge. We are a holding company for them.
Okay, you're a holding company. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Any further questions amongst about this exciting investment opportunity amongst participants? I was reading something about the fact that you've been part of the so-called Fledge Accelerator. Could you say something about that and how that has benefited your growth forecast or your growth?
Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, our growth curve. In 2019, we were just a very small dairy processing company that only could do around 140,000 liters per annum. That was around, I remember we were just pasteurizing milk using a very small cooking stove, around 300 to 600 liters a day. But after our first investment, we grew our sales from this figure of 72,435 more than 1.2 million in sales. So the same was for our growth. We had to increase our processing capacity, our packaging and everything. So Fledge has played a very big role towards our growth, and it's still playing a very big growth until to date, and it will forever be because we are a holding company for them. So Fledge, it was Fledge before, but later it changed into Africa Eats.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, exciting growth story that you put forward today. Any other questions? Perhaps in your presentation, you put a lot of emphasis on the big domestic market in Tanzania, but as you also mentioned, Tanzania is part of the East Africa Economic Community. When are you planning to break into Uganda or Kenya or Rwanda, for example?
Oh, this is a good question, apparently. Thank you very much. You know, milk business is really tricky when it comes to Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. Apparently in Uganda, a price cost per liter of milk in Uganda is cheaper than, or of raw milk in Uganda is cheaper than price cost of a liter in Kenya and Tanzania. So it's really hard for us to penetrate into the Ugandan market because the milk products they have are way cheaper to the ones we have in Tanzania and Kenya. But for Kenya, it's the same thing. they have moved into an extensive mode of production whereby they have too much milk. As I said before, we in Tanzania, we buy milk from Kenya, we buy milk from Uganda, South Africa, and also Almeria in Saudi Arabia. So you can see there's still demand for milk in Tanzania. So we are concentrating with the local market before going to the international market at the same time. So our biggest priority for now is it's for the local market before reaching the international market.
Okay, fantastic.
All right. So we happen to have a hand up from Thomas Montali. Yeah, so let me just unmute him. Okay, Thomas, you can actually go ahead.
Yes, yeah, I think quite interesting growth which the company has taken, but I wanted just to find out, one of the biggest challenges with SMMEs is managing the cash cycle. So when they supply the milk, how long does it take? Is it cash business at the moment? And when they do they plan to start offering credit in future as they grow? Just to understand on the cash cycle of the business at the moment.
Okay, so this has been illustrated on our business revenue model, is that since we are dealing with most of our customers, I would say 40% are corporate customers. Most of them do a bank transfer. They pay in cash. We do sales supplies tender, and also we do contract payments. So we are accepting all forms of of payments. I forgot to mention also mobile payments. Tanzania, before the government regulations on transaction costs, mobile money used to be our biggest revenue, our biggest payment model. Yeah, so we had customers paying through our mobile money. We also offer credit sales, but I would think in the next 1 year we'll stop with the credit sales, especially in the hotel business. In the hotel business, as you know, COVID has affected us very much. So many hotels went to a closure, so we missed our payments from these hotels. So we're not planning to take this as a biggest strategy when it comes to payment model.
Okay, noted. Thanks.
Okay, I think in interest of time, there was another very interesting presentation. So we'll move on to our second last presenter, which is likewise a company based in Tanzania called Agripoa Farm Management Software. So here we have a combination of tech revolution with the impact revolution. So the presenter, where do we have the presenter? Is that Placidius? Yes, that's Placidius.
Yes,
so,
Placidius.
Okay, Placidius, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I'm trying to share my screen.
Yeah, we see you perfectly and hear you as well. So 5 minutes, starting now.
Hi, my name is Placidius Castus and I'm the founder of Agripoa. Agripoa is the farm management software that helps farmers to plan, monitor, and analyze all farm activities easily. The African population is increasing. You see, we have got almost 1.3 billion population, and it will increase, it will double to 2050, and it will become 2.5 billion. We need to produce enough food to feed our Africans. But surprisingly enough, we lose more than $35 billion to import food from outside of Africa. The story of most African farmers is the same, such as an example from Anna, who is a poultry farmer. She loses more than 30% of her produce because of disease, expertise, and poor management. There are different challenges facing farmers currently being operated in WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. You find farmers chatting on different challenges. For example, in this WhatsApp group, farmers are explaining different challenges like disease, but no one is there to help them. We thought of building a farm management software that could help, could use artificial intelligence to help them solve these challenges, especially on detecting disease. When we are coming in, we have two sustainable development, that is no poverty and zero hunger, where we train them on farming properly, on applying best practices, and adapting climate smart agriculture. Our solution is helping the farmers to detect poultry disease by taking the pictures through our mobile app. We also are using the farm data through analytics and advise them on the best practices. The way it works is very simple. A farmer downloads our app, registers, then he takes a picture of poultry feces and gets the results through the app. Our business model is B2C. We get revenue through commission, and our next move is B2B, where we are targeting insurance companies and banks. The market opportunity is very promising, and we have got almost 52% of internet penetration in East Africa, and more than 50 million poultry farmers in East Africa, whereby 15 million are having smartphones in East Africa. We launched the product last month, and we managed to get up to now, today, we are having 30 days exactly in the market. We have managed to register 3,200 poultry farmers, and we have partnered with the Jubilee Insurance, whereby from the next month, we are going to start giving insurance cover to poultry farmers in Tanzania and expand it to Kenya, Uganda, and other countries in Africa by using Jubilee Insurance. Our competitive landscape is that we detect the disease, we help farmers to record data, whereby they can be linked with financial institutions for loans. We link them with insurance companies, and also we train them on adapting climate smart agriculture, whereby Arinifu in Kenya just records farm data and training. We are asking 500,000 USD as debt or equity from any interested investors, and the use of funds will be 60% will be used for strategic partnerships and expansion, whereas 40% will be used for marketing. The aim of this money, we need to get 30,000 farmers by the end of next year. We have managed to raise some small amount of money from seedsters, and we also got some money from Vigo Africa and AI4D. Our team is comprised of me, who has got 8 years of experience in IT industry, in banking industry, and the insurance industry. Mr. Kevin, who is also a full stack programmer, is expert in AI and machine learning. Janet, who is our vet expert, more than 5 years of experience in this poultry sector. Apart from just 1 month of launching, we have been under the last year we registered the company. We have been doing research and development, and we become on October we became the best agri-tech company of the year in Tanzania. Thank you.
Well, congratulations with the award. It's always nice to signal to the outside world that people have confidence in what you're doing and proposing. I think it's very useful, as you showed with the initial slides, service that you're offering. So any questions, Peter, from the audience?
At the moment, I can't see any hands up, so I take it no questions, unless there are questions.
How does maybe your solution? How does it benefit, let's say, the business strategies or the business plan of these poultry farmers that you're working with? Has there been a significant kind of cause and effect on their productivity amongst let's say your clients using your application? Or what has been the most significant effect? And is it something that you can measure in a short term, or is it something that you'll see after a few months or after a year or so?
Okay. Most of farmers are having a challenge with expertise in through our app. The farmer can be linked with an expert who is online. We have more than 50 experts within our app, and any farmer having any challenge, when he enters our app, he can chat with our online expert. It has been a significant impact to our farmers. Also on disease, we have got very few farm experts in Tanzania, although it's in Africa. So our farmers do not need to meet the experts or the agronomists, sometimes the vet experts. So they use this feature of scanning disease. You just treat by yourself. You scan the disease, you get the feedback. Maybe your chick is suffering from a certain disease, and the system advises you on the best medication to be applied on your chick.
So basically, you can say that what you're offering is like extension services 2.0. It's a whole new way of providing extension services. But how do you overcome the issue? I don't know how well covered Tanzania is, since it's a big country. I can see that many of your clients are within proximity to Dar es Salaam, but eventually, when you're going to roll this out to the 30,000 users, do you have a nationwide coverage, and can you also use this can you use this with a simple mobile phone, or do you need to have a smartphone to access this service online?
A good thing is that we partnered with Jubilee Insurance and Time Management Brokers. We are now integrating the ESSB platform, whereby the farmers with normal feature phones can use our app. So that is coming on January. So also that is why we need also money to do some advertisements, to visit some farmers. We need to train them to get them on board.
Okay, so are you substituting, or are you complementing, let's say, the public, what do you call it, extension service offices?
Sorry?
Are you in direct competition, or you're offering, is that a complementary services to the public service that you get through the more traditional extension services provided to smallholder farmers?
We are not in competition.
Okay. Peter, any other questions? Any other questions from? No.
No.
Okay. Again, 30,000, giving the, let's say, the fee that you're charging per user, and the fact that you are aiming at reaching 30,000, that still makes it a fairly small investment opportunity, also in terms of growth. Is there any way that you could scale this up even further, or would you have to go outside of Tanzania to make this maybe a bit more of an attractive investment opportunity from, let's say, a non-Tanzanian investor?
Yes, you are right. We shall start to roll out within, as I said, from January, we are starting with the Jubilee Insurance, and this Jubilee Insurance is over 16 countries in Africa. So we are also planning to expand with them, as we are offering insurance products to our farmers. Then we expand to Kenya.
Okay,
and other African countries.
Can you already share which other African countries you have in radar?
Yes, I will share with you.
Which are these?
We have Kenya, Uganda, we have Somalia. I mean, no, we have Kenya. We have Kenya, Uganda, and we have Rwanda. Though Rwanda is having bigger numbers, but
okay, so they are all countries within the East Africa Economic Community, and I guess the common market of East Africa community allows, let's say, the exportation of veterinary services through this platform. Okay, that's perfect. I think in interest of time, we'll move on to the last presentation since we're already now behind the official time. So thank you so much. And to Agripois. And we'll go on to the last presentation of today, which is the Ndanda splash water processing, likewise in Tanzania. So we hope we still have the speaker with us since we are behind schedule. Who is the speaker? Is that Senis? Senis?
Oh, no, it's not me, Christian, sorry.
Okay. Peter, do you know who the speaker is? You can't see the person. Crispin, do you know who the speaker is, the last speaker from Tanzania?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Madenge hasn't made it tonight. So,
okay. Okay,
yeah,
well, that's fine. That means that we'll stay more or less within the time. So as you could see from the program, we still have an opportunity to ask questions to all of the founders who shared with us excellent solutions. Are there any additional questions that you can raise to any of the 5 companies that has been pitching today? As you could see from LinkedIn, where there was the link to this event, we had a quite significant interest, especially amongst investors from all over the continent. Unfortunately, not all of them are with us in real time, but from our previous e-pitching session, some of the investors, if they have an interest in the companies and they will be able to see your presentations on our YouTube channel, they will come back to us and we'll set up bilateral meetings with the investors. But for now, are there any specific questions to our 2 Congolese founders, the Zambian Luano honey company, or our 2 Tanzanian companies, the dairy company, as well as the farm management software system, Agripois?
Christian.
Yes, go ahead, Richard.
Pour Benoît, est-ce qu'il peut nous dire combien il cherche les montants?
Il n'a pas... Bon, oui, ça c'est l'occasion pour vous, Benoît, d'élaborer exactement quel est le montant que vous cherchez et aussi quel type d'investisseur est plus convenable pour vous. Est-ce que vous cherchez la dette? Est-ce que vous cherchez l'equity? Est-ce que vous cherchez quelqu'un qui peut vous mettre en contact avec leur réseau de distribution? Quel sera votre investisseur idéal pour vous aider à croître votre société?
Merci beaucoup. Nous recherchons pratiquement 100 000 $ que nous avions demandé par rapport à notre business plan que nous avons élaboré. Et nous cherchons un investisseur qui peut nous mettre en contact, en relation avec d'autres acteurs qui peuvent propulser notre solution, que ce soit en République démocratique du Congo ou encore dans d'autres pays africains, parce que nous voulons et nous voulons vraiment être un point focal pour donner accès à tous les enfants, car avec les autres startups ou solutions qui travaillent pour l'accès des enfants à l'éducation de qualité, les fonds mais ne donnent pas accès à tous les enfants suite au coût qui est élevé. Alors, pour que nous puissions atteindre, nous avons besoin des investisseurs qui doivent nous accompagner dans le réseautage et aussi financièrement. Voilà, merci.
Comme vous le savez, il y a une fonds qui s'appelle Education Outcome Funds. It's an ambitious effort to significantly improve learning and employment outcomes by tying funding to measurable results. I would probably afterwards we'll see if we can set up a meeting with this Education Outcome Fund. I think that might have an interest in what you are proposing. That's one investor that comes in mind. There are of course also other investors, including here in Geneva. Il y a aussi des investisseurs ici à Genève qui focalisent spécifiquement sur le rôle de l'éducation comme vous le savez, comme un objectif de développement durable très important pour le développement du RDC, du continent en général. Okay, 100,000 to help Yekolab provide additional educational services to Congo's youth and future leaders. This is noted. Any other questions? Okay, as I said, from our side, as you already know, we'll continue to promote these solutions within our investor networks. We have already made a heroic effort to share today's event with our investor network in the UK, in Switzerland, in the Netherlands, in France, in South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and other places. And some of those investors have expressed an interest in signing up for today's event. It's a pity they were not able to be with us here in real time, but we'll do a follow-up with them, and hopefully some of you founders will initiate the process that hopefully will lead to a future deal or a private debt financing among some of those investors. In any case, it's been extremely interesting to see all of this very ingenious solution that has been presented to us today. And we thank all of the founders for your confidence in 4P Group and Impactpreneur Africa Limited. And we also like to thank Kinshasa Innovation Center, as well as TrueMaisha Training Company in Dar es Salaam for your willingness to partner with us. And we look forward to continuing our support to both institutions in Congo and Tanzania when we move into the new year. Peter, so I think we'll end here, and Peter, you will make some few concluding remarks.
All right,
Peter.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Thank you so very much, Christian. Good evening to everyone. My name is Peter, and I would just love to announce our forthcoming events, of course, in the year 2022, January. So we are actually excited to announce to you that next we are actually going to organize 2 successful impact investor circle series that are going to focus on Nigeria. And this is actually due to the fact that the Nigeria has actually successfully set up the National Advisory Board for Impact Investing that is under the Global Steering Group for Impact Investing. And so next year, January, February, we're going to do 2 Impact Investor Circle Series events. Of course, the second one is going to be an e-pitching, which is an e-pitching event, which is not going to exclusively focus on Nigeria, but then still open to other countries like Tanzania, Zambia, and Congo DRC participating. And then in the second quarter of 2022, we are also going to host an Impact Investor Circle series that is going to focus on Botswana. Then in the third quarter, which is going to be May, June, we are going to focus on Ghana. And lastly, in the fourth quarter, we are going to focus on Namibia. So going forward, we are actually going to partner with TrueMaisha Training Company to further try and support Tanzanian businesses as far as ESG capacity building is concerned through our ESG toolkit. So very soon we'll be rolling out, as I have mentioned, in collaboration with TrueMaisha, to just make sure that more and more company get investment ready, as far as ESG and impact frameworks are concerned. So thank you so very much. And as Christian had mentioned, we're going ahead. We're going ahead, make follow-ups with some of the investors that initially expressed concern in our ESG, or that initially expressed interest in our e-pitching session. And we are also going to post this e-pitching session on our YouTube channel for IP Group. So thank you so very much, and have a pleasant evening to everyone.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone. And allow me to wish you all, for those who are Christians, a Merry Christmas, and for the rest of you, I wish you a festive season and a successful 2022. Hopefully with COVID behind all of us, so that we can really get Africa back on track. So have a good evening, and all the best, and see you next year.
Merci, Christian.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Merci.
Okay, Peter, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
Have a
okay,
nice,
Christian.
have a nice
See you
evening.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, have a great evening too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.